Welcome to the Soul Work, a weekly show where we look at a strategy, a process, a tool, a technique, or a thought for your spiritual growth. If you're joining us for the very first time on the Soul Work, let me introduce myself. My name is Gina. I'm a spiritual teacher, creator of Soul Quest, and the LGBTQ advocate within the spiritual world. In this episode of the Soul Work, I want to talk to you about manifesting abundance. And when I say abundance and manifesting, most people think about money. Did your mind go to money when I just said that? By abundance, what I mean is having plenty of something. There's not a short supply, there's a large supply of whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest. And that could be things like resources, people, opportunities, money. It could be plants and the air that you breathe. It could be anything where there's a lot of something. And most people's mind, when you say abundance, tends to go to money. Now in this episode, I'm going to talk through a few different ideas, and all of the ideas I talk through are going to apply to abundance generally. I'm going to specifically focus in on money for my examples because most people can kind of put their heads into what I'm talking about when it comes to money. Let's start off by talking about money generally. There's a lot of fear about money. And that fear comes generally from not having enough of something. A lot of people kind of think that if I have a lot, then somebody else is not going to have as much. But it doesn't work like that. Money is there. There isn't a case of, okay, so I'm going to give you this much and therefore this person is going to have to suffer. There isn't an element of that around money. But often we think that there is, and we start to have this fear building up. Now money is actually a method of transaction. It's a way for you to trade one thing for another. And if we didn't have money, what might it be? Well, in the olden days it might have been rocks or camels or horses. But over time we've created a piece of paper. And that piece of paper, we have put a lot of emotion into it. It's an emotionally charged subject. When you talk about money, most people have an emotion attached to it. And what I've noticed is that money isn't talked about very openly. So we don't teach our young people how to deal with money and how to deal with abundance in general. We don't give those skills to young people. And we also are very reluctant to talk about how much we earn. I don't know why that is, but whenever there's a conversation about how much do you earn, it's always quite awkward. Have you ever noticed that? Money is an emotionally charged subject, and we've got to remember that it is a method of transaction. It's simply a resource. It's not a need. We don't have a need for it. It's a resource that's going to help us to do all the things that we want to do in our lives. And when you think about money, and when you think about anything actually, thinking about it, what you're addicted to, you keep away. I'll say that again. What you're addicted to, you keep away. And if you can switch that addiction in your mind to a preference, so I would prefer to have some money because it will enable me to do this, as opposed to I need money because I will be able to do this. That's where things change. And that addiction, that's what's known as the law of repulsion. If we could strip that emotion away from money and abundance, remember this is about abundance in general, if you can strip that emotion away, things will change in your mind. And I'm going to talk you through a few different ways for you to manifest abundance. And there's usually a block there, and I'm going to talk to you about the blocks that exist. And by reducing the blocks and by stripping away the emotion, that's when you'll start to notice the abundance in your life, and you'll begin to manifest more and more and more. So let's get straight into it. First of all, as I said, I'm going to focus on money as an example. Get your figures down. By getting your figures down on paper, what you're doing is you are seeing the reality of the situation. This is vital. You need to see the reality of the situation. You've got to raise your awareness about your reality around abundance. Abundance of resources, abundance of people, opportunities, whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest in your life in abundance. Figure out what the reality is. what is the reality for you in that area? It might be about getting the figures down if you're talking about money. It might be looking at the resources that you have and thinking, so if you're thinking currently, I don't have the resources to do this, open your mind and think, what resources do I have? How could I use those resources in a different way for me to achieve what it is I'm wanting to achieve? Raise your awareness about your reality. The second thing is about keeping the faith. Keeping the faith. Ask yourself, have you ever not been able to cover your mortgage payments or whatever it is that you're worried about? Have you ever been at a point where it's an all-time low and you've not been able to do something because you didn't have the abundance? I'm a firm believer that the universe provides, and if we ask ourselves that question, have I ever been in a position where I've been not able to do something because I haven't had something? The reality is no. More often than not, the reality is no. You may have got close to the wire, but how often have you never been able to cover something? The universe provides. Start to think as well, what is the worst case scenario for me here? If I don't have this thing that I'm wanting in abundance, what is the worst case scenario that can happen? Because what that does is it switches something in your mind. It makes you think about, actually, come on, what is the worst thing that could happen right now? And probably if you don't have enough money, the worst thing that could happen right now is you might not be able to pay a bill. And what might that mean? It might mean picking up the phone and saying, listen, I'm a bit short at the moment, I can't make this payment on this date, however, this is when I'll be able to make the payment. It's all about a conversation. We put so much fear into not being able to pay something or do something. In actual fact, if you have a conversation with the person involved, the person that is responsible or whatever it is, if there's a person involved, have that conversation. It will strip all the emotion away. What's the worst case scenario? And then I want to talk to you about three quite fundamental things around abundance. And again, using the thing of money to illustrate the point, I want you to think about how you think about money. That could be how you think about resources, how you think about the people, how you think about the opportunities, whatever that abundance thing is that you're looking for, how do you think about that currently? Because what you put out there is what you get. Going back to money, are you thinking, okay, I want just enough to cover the bills? Because if that's what you're thinking, that's what you will get. But if you're thinking, actually, I don't want enough to cover the bills, I want more than that, I want over and above what I need so I can live a comfortable life. And if that's where your mind goes, then that is what you will get. So think about, how do you think about money and resources and people and opportunities? Where does your mind go? Because when you recognise where your mind goes, then you'll recognise why you're getting what you're getting. And once you've recognised what that thought is, what it is that you're thinking about, money or abundance, then you can change that. Moving on to changing it, I want to talk to you about the conscious mind versus the subconscious. Now, often when it comes to money, we work on our conscious beliefs. So you might be telling yourself in affirmations over and over again, money comes to me easily, money comes to me easily, money comes to me with no problems at all, money flows into my life in abundance. Okay, you may be telling yourself those things, but if your conscious mind is not aligned with your subconscious, then what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to have money flowing through, because it's like these two things aren't aligned. It's like they're sitting disjointed at the moment. And if you take that conscious thing that you're saying to yourself and you're constantly saying it over and over again, but this is out of whack over here somewhere, then what's going to happen? You're not going to manifest it. What you need to do is get that subconscious aligned with your conscious beliefs. And how do you do that? How you do that is you work on your belief system. You've got to go deeper. You've got to work on not just giving yourself affirmations. Yes, they'll feel good in the moment and all that kind of stuff, but what's actually happening is you're not resonating on a deeper level, and it has to resonate on a deeper level. You've got to work on those subconscious beliefs. And that leads me to the third thing around conditioning. Most of our beliefs around abundance in general, including money, comes from conditioning from childhood. Before you reach the age of 6 or 7 years old, you've already got those beliefs programmed into your mind. So you may have heard, for instance, you've got to work hard for your money. Money is hard to get. It's a struggle to make money. Or the all-time biggest one, money doesn't grow on trees. If you've heard those messages or something similar in your childhood, they have become ingrained into your belief system. Now they are your subconscious beliefs. For you to be able to manifest abundance, you've got to really clear those conditioned beliefs and work on reprogramming your subconscious beliefs. Once you work on those subconscious beliefs, then the affirmations are going to have more impact. Okay? So lots of different things to think here about manifesting abundance. As I said, I gave you an example of money for you to illustrate the point around abundance. So key points here are to strip the emotion away from whatever it is that you're wanting to attract into your life. It's about recognizing the reality of the situation. It's about keeping the faith. It's about identifying what that worst case scenario is. And then the next three are the most important. Look at how you think about abundance, what's going on in your mind. Make sure that your conscious beliefs are aligned with your subconscious beliefs. And the third thing is around your conditioning. Work on those subconscious beliefs. That is vital. If you don't work on those subconscious beliefs, chances are manifesting abundance will be a struggle. It will be a struggle, and you will not get that abundance that you're looking for in your life. Okay, so great points there around manifesting abundance. I hope that's been useful for you. If you're wanting to work on those subconscious beliefs, I have an audio inspiration track that you can register for. On that track, it's very uplifting. It's there to work on those beliefs. It's there to look at what you're currently thinking and to turn that around in your mind so you can manifest abundance and all these things that you're wanting in your life. If you want to get hold of that, log on to my website, which is www.ginabattye.com. You'll see it at the top, how to let go. Put in your details, and that's you registered. It'll find its way to you. Don't forget, next episode of the Soul Work comes out next Sunday, 7 p.m. And if you want to check in with us live on Wednesday, that would be awesome. We meet on Facebook. It's a live call that we do on there, and I'll be talking about manifesting abundance in more detail. If you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, if you want to join us for that live call, that would be amazing to have you there. Please join us. That's on Wednesday at 4 p.m. I'll put the link in the box below. You can join us over on Facebook. Hope you have a fantastic week. Don't forget, money is a method of transaction, and what you're addicted to, you keep away. Work on that addiction, change it to a preference. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.